Over the most recent First Ideal Villains video that I have put out, a lot of the requests for the next ones I do is for the Justice League, which has been on my mind for some time, but we're finally going to get into it now. The Justice League's history is so vast and it's so grand. I don't necessarily believe there is one true villain that this team should or should not go up against. I think they've had so many different villains ranging from extremely powerful or very strategic in intelligence and nature that have posed threats to them before. There are so much option you could choose on who you would want to be your first villain for the Justice League. I had a couple of villains in mind, a couple of stories and ideas, but the one that was really kept in mind for me was the Sinestro Corps. Now, it all depends on how you would make your own Justice League roster and how it would fit into the canon of your own world. For me, of course, I keep those main five, and one of those main five particularly being John Stewart's Green Lantern. And then to take the 6th and 7th spots, I have Martian Manhunter and Zatanna. I do always imagine that the Justice League starts off as a 6-member group. It is Green Lantern who does not join up right away. He does join up maybe a couple of months after the league has unofficially formed. Whether it's Hal Jordan for someone or John Stewart for me, or hell, maybe even both if there's anyone who wants to do something like that. I believe that the threat is important enough for Green Lantern to have to come to Earth to warn there is someone coming with the goal to dominate Earth. Within maybe the past 2 to 3 years that all of these characters have been heroes, Green Lantern and Sinestro have faced down one another before, after Sinestro switched sides. Every time they fight, Green Lantern is always getting the upper hand. Sinestro has had enough of it. He is sick and tired of the power that the Green Lantern Corps holds across a majority of the universe, and he simply believes that willpower is not the answer. He also wants to make this personal for Green Lantern. Now, 2 things here before we get into a little bit more details of how the story would play out. 1, why Sinestro would come to Earth. This is a man whose core beliefs, in which he's also made it his personality, it is complete control and analyzation over his homeworld and his people. He has flat out put monitoring devices all over the planet and even follows and measures heartbeats of his people so that nothing happens on his planet without his knowledge. This is a man who believes this type of rule over all other civilizations in the universe. It's the way to keep peace, to keep order, to keep things in line. If Sinestro was capable of doing this to many other planets outside of Korrigar, there's no doubt about it that one day he would make his way over to Earth. But he is all eyes set on Earth right now because of how much he despises him for always getting in the way of his plans. This would also be a point in time where Sinestro would know that if he goes to Earth, he is increasingly outmanned. He does need others by his side. And this is where he starts going around and grouping up a bunch of people who would be well suited for the Sinestro Corps. The idea would be to come to Earth with more members at his side so he isn't overthrown so easily. Now, to bring up my second point on why the Sinestro Corps would be a really good first villain for the Justice League, it now officially opens the door to the Justice League fighting outer world threats. We are now looking towards space and other solar systems and galaxies out in the DC universe. These characters' worlds have blown open in so many ways. It makes Earth not seem as big as it was before. But it's not until they fight their actual first alien threat where they do realize we are in it now. We have been noticed. Aliens out there know who we are. They know Earth is home to a civilization. But beyond that, they know Earth has a multitude of beings, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, who have these extraordinary powers. I also believe that Sinestro and the Yellow Lantern Corps are, of course, very powerful characters. At the end of the day, they won't beat people like Kryptonians, and quite often, I do believe DC has a really hard time finding the proper power scaling of what lanterns are really capable of. We always describe lantern wielders to hone the power of the universe, but very often they're not always shown on a level of that power. Using Sinestro as a first villain to the Justice League can maybe throw off an inexperienced and a younger Justice League with how powerful a veteran Sinestro is right now. It is a great way to kick off a DC world in which now these characters know there are aliens out there who could be threats to them, and along with that, the fact that the Justice League now have a relationship with lantern wielders, understanding that after this threat with Sinestro, they will be seeing more lanterns as time goes on. I think how this would play out is Sinestro would basically do a background check. He would try to learn everything he would need to know about Earth's current heroes, being the Justice League, how their societies are shaped, what their governments look like, and the fact that he would need to build a sizable crew so that at the very least for every Justice League member, there's 2 Sinestro Corps members. Sinestro is very confident in himself. He firmly believes one-on-one he could beat Green Lantern, and if he had to go up against Superman, even if we know Superman would beat him, Sinestro has full confidence that he could go up against the Man of Steel and beat him as well. However, he does need to be smart about this, and he needs to plan out his attack. When Green Lantern comes to the Justice League to warn them that Sinestro is on his way, they do wonder what his plan of attack would be, in which he would send members of his corps around the world to different cities, holding them hostage. He knows the best way of winning is not a full frontal assault against the Justice League. It's splitting them up and making them fight outmanned, as they would be a 1 Justice League member versus 2 or 3 Sinestro Corps members. I would imagine there would be even more Sinestro Corps members, to the point where the Justice League does not have the manpower to send people to those cities. Characters like Superman or Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, they might not be losing to the Yellow Lanterns they're fighting, but they can't be in 6 different places at once. They have to focus on the battle in front of them, no matter what city they're in. They can't be traveling between cities at will. So from that instance, even if certain Yellow Lanterns are being defeated or manhandled by these top-end heroes, Sinestro still knows he has the upper hand because they can't be everywhere. And whereas I do think a big piece of this story, you would see moments of the Justice League working together as one whole team, it would be smarter if you split the team up in some instances. Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, and the Flash would be dedicated to fighting these Yellow Lanterns one-on-one, whereas Batman, Zatanna, and Green Lantern, their mission would be to find Sinestro. Where is he hiding, around Earth or on Earth, and how does he think that he can win this? With Zatanna's magic, Batman's intelligence, and the resources he has at the Batcave, and all of the abilities, even tracking abilities, that the Green Lantern ring has, they try combining all 3 of these things in any way possible to track down Sinestro, to track down him, his ring, to even see if there was a way to have thermal body imagery of where he could be hiding, and none of it is seemingly successful. The members fighting Sinestro Corps members are holding their own, but it is getting to the point where they can't do it forever, as some of them might get tired, and if stamina is not an issue, it is simply the fact that these cities are being held hostage. Their governments are being held hostage. People might even be dying from threats of the Yellow Lantern Corps, let alone all the structural damage that these cities are having as well. So I did something crazy here. Not exactly sure if it's going to work, but we'll see. If you recall to the Dark Knights of Steel Elseworld story, there was the Lex Luthor Joker character who wielded a Green Lantern ring, who thought that he was answering to the voice of the ring, but it was actually white Martians hidden in disguise fooling him this whole time. And I kind of went with an idea like that, except the ring is actually talking to these people. Over the past couple of months, even before this threat arose for the Justice League, Sinestro sent one to the President of the United States. However, the ring does not work like a normal ring in which the President just puts it on and becomes a Yellow Lantern. It works more in the effect of the Ring of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. It's there to talk to him, to manipulate him, to get into his mind, to make him think or feel what the ring wants that person to think or feel. All of those emotions and thoughts are coming directly from Sinestro. Throughout this whole situation of the Sinestro Corps attacking Earth, the president would literally go on live television in a state of emergency, a worldwide state of emergency be it, where the president is actually claiming that the villains of this entire thing are superheroes. And the way that the media is making it look is that in fact the superheroes are the villains here and the Yellow Lanterns are the ones who are good, who are trying to defend Earth. This is all of Sinestro's ploy to alter the narrative. The president is basically a pawn to the Yellow Ring. A regular human being is almost not capable of denying this lust for power they have for the ring, and they cannot deny what the ring wants it to do. As he is on TV, Batman, Zatanna, Green Lantern, they all think this is very, very strange, but utilizing the technology of the Batcave computer and the Green Lantern ring. Remember how I said thermal technology a little bit earlier? Well, they capture some form of thermal technology coming from the president, and they realize that the only type of power that could distribute that much thermal rays is something like a Yellow Lantern ring. They immediately know something is up, and the fact that the president might be getting influenced or manipulated in some way. Skipping a whole bunch of details because I don't want to make this video 2 hours long for you guys, the entire Justice League would come together, go to the White House to retrieve the Yellow Lantern ring from the president, getting him out from that mind control. This is a plan that Sinestro did not think they would uncover. He didn't believe they would be able to be smart enough to pick on something like this. He would love to take over Earth and rule it the way he does Korrigar, but at the end of the day, he is so much more focused on defeating Green Lantern. All he wants is some form of victory. And does he get that? No. But does he make it hard for them? Absolutely. At this point in time, Green Lantern would realize no matter what we do, Sinestro just keeps coming back. I need to find a way to stop him from always being a threat. He takes the yellow ring away from him. He delivers it over to the Guardians of Oa. Superman also offers to place Sinestro in the Phantom Zone until the one inevitable day where he does get removed from the Phantom Zone because no one ever stays imprisoned forever in the world of comic books. This is also where Batman comes up with the idea to create the Watchtower, a base for the Justice League to not only keep an eye on Earth, but to now have their sights on the vast surroundings of space, knowing that Sinestro could come here, an alien being, and threaten our world. What's to say there aren't other alien races who are far more powerful than him that will one day come here and threaten us again? We must be prepared. At the end of this, Green Lantern would officially join the team, and they would officially be called the Justice League world's mightiest heroes. But there you go, guys. That is an idea I came up with for Justice League's first ideal villain. Like I said, there are so many other villains that you could have gone with, no right or wrong answer. There were other villains I even had in mind, someone like Amazo, but I decided to go with Sinestro. So you guys let me know in the comments below who your first ideal villain would be for the Justice League, and also let me know who you'd like to see next for this video idea. But that is all I have for you on this one, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it, and until the next time, I will talk to you all very soon.